Thank you. For the record, Cyrus Reed, Lonestar Chapter of the Sierra Club, in support of SB2. I will say I haven't seen the committee substitute. I wanted to point out to the committee that in the 2024 state flood plan, the fourth recommendation from the board was prioritize and expand funding for implementing flood early warning systems on a regional scale with emphasis on rural areas, which I believe this bill does. I will say that regional word I think is important. There may be cases where it's not city and county, it's more of a watershed approach. And so to the extent you could allow that in the rules, I think would be important. The other is one that point I wanted to make, as Chairman, one you made, which is the early warning system by itself is not enough. It really needs to be tied into the flood gauges and monitoring the weather, et cetera. I assume that will come in other bills, but I'll just say the experience of the flooding of the Blanco. I think you know this, I've been very involved in Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. We were scheduled to go to summer camp in 2015 at Rancho Sima, which is on the Blanco and on the Devil's Backbone. That entire camp was destroyed by those floods. And I can say, having camped there previously and been right on the river and having had to move in certain occasions when there were flash floods, this is really important because you don't have good cell phone service in these canyons. And I can tell you other stories about being moved in state parks with Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts because of flooding. So I think this is really needed to save lives.
That was a 45-foot increase of a wall of water,
in 2015,
the largest on record.
Yeah, that was incredible. We weren't there, but I'm just pointing out that whole camp was destroyed, and making sure that we have these systems in place. But to be clear, SB2 by itself is not enough, but it's an important first step. And I hope it is coordinated very carefully with the Water Development Board, because obviously they have the Flood Infrastructure Fund, they have additional funding. So we really need to coordinate all this funding and not create silos. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.